Hey guys, Omar and Tamer here from egmCarTech.com. We're here to cover the week's most important headlines, and first up, spy shots of the new BMW 3 Series got leaked, and I thought it looked pretty nice, and looks like a 5 Series from the back. Couldn't see much of the front. But,
and the front though. I mean,
I didn't see much of the front, but I thought it looked.
We saw that straight line in the front right before the grille. I'm sorry. I think it's a nice look, just like the 5 Series is a nice look, and just like the 7 Series is a nice look. So, I mean, BMW is being conservative here again. I mean, keeping a similar grille and similar shape and look and feel as the rest of the lineup. But how about something different? I mean, all the BMW cars look the same. I mean, the 3,
the new
5,
1
and 7.
Series and
the one is a little different.
In 2020, that looks ugly. That's hideous. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, now I know they got a formula that works, right? And you don't want to change it up too much. But and we get on other car makers for not being unique with their different cars in the lineup. BMW's not being unique here at all, in my opinion. How about some creativity?
Well, this is just the first couple spy shots. Doesn't really show much.
I've already formed my opinion.
The full car will debut next month at the 2011 Frankfurt Auto Show, so we'll keep our opinions to ourselves until then.
Maybe
except for him.
Maybe you.
Earlier this week, Ferrari's CEO made a statement that he's no-go for electric cars. He doesn't want electric cars in the Ferrari fleet at all, and I agree with him, and mentioning Ferrari and electric cars in the same sentence is blasphemous.
I would agree, but before I give you my opinion, I think I know somebody that has a better, more informed opinion on this matter.
Who's that?
Yo, fact guy.
You're right here.
No, I said fact guy.
My bad.
Now, I have to say that because Ferrari said, you know, they weren't into electric cars, I kind of disagree with what these two are saying, because Porsche said that they would be working on a hybrid and an electric model. By the way, my name is Christian. I'm senior editor for egmCarTech.
Yeah.
And what does that have to do with anything? So Porsche's doing wrong things too by doing electric cars.
Yeah, but at the same time, Porsche is equally committed to sports cars as Ferrari is. So it kind of doesn't make
Porsche
sense.
and Ferrari are a different segment, kind of like. Porsche I wouldn't consider like Ferrari elite supercar.
It's not a supercar level. Also, what about the
but
sound?
They do make supercars.
What about the sound of the car too?
Now, of course, I admit Ferrari's part of Ferrari's character has to do with the way the car drives and what kind of experience it provides. That includes, you know, what kind of sound it produces, how it handles, and just how the car in general makes you feel. And when you factor in an electric powertrain, which, you know, say for instance for the Chevy Volt, the Nissan Leaf, you don't exactly have, you know, an engine note. And that's just like taking the sun away from a summer holiday.
All right, thanks,
nice
Chris.
analogy.
I mean, that was a good analogy, but I guess my thing is, right, if I'm driving a Ferrari and I don't have that sound or that feedback throughout the car and that shaking throughout, to me, it won't feel the same.
Jaguar earlier this week released a teaser sketch of a new concept they're going to debut in Frankfurt next month. It's called the C-X16 Concept, and I know he's really excited because he's a huge Jaguar fan. And what do you think about it?
Still doesn't defeat the fact that it's named after a fax machine.
How do you think it looks, though?
I think it looks absolutely epic. I mean,
Based off a sketch, you already think it looks epic? They haven't
from the
shown
side
anything.
profile, can you imagine what that thing's gonna look like in 3D, man?
Yeah.
But
The C-X75 was nice looking.
yeah, it doesn't look like a traditional Jaguar.
And they're producing
though.
that, too.
Well, see, that's the problem with Jaguars of the old, is that they were making their cars and designing their cars so much on tradition that they weren't selling. You know, I actually had a 2002 Jaguar XJ8, and even though it was one of the best looking cars in this day, it was very old. And
I've heard this story so many times.
So have I.
Yeah, so
But
I'm just
they-
going to cut
they
them off
haven't.
here, and we'll see the full concept next month in Frankfurt. Sorry. So earlier this week, Michelle Bachmann says that if she becomes president of the United States, gas is going to be lower than $2. And that's a complete lie. Because gas is never going to be less than $2. And that just goes to show that politicians lie about anything to get into office. And I'm sure you agree with me, guys, right?
I know where you guys stand, but I will say this.
You think she's hot.
Well, I mean, that's besides the point. But
He actually thinks Michelle Bachmann's hot.
now, so with respect to the $2 gas, right? I think technically she can get it down to $2 for maybe a week out of
Or a
her
day.
potential 4-year term.
Or a day.
And if she does get it down to under $2 for a week, she technically didn't lie.
if she
You're
gets,
like a politician, too.
if she
Maybe
gets
you should
gas
run
down
for
to
president.
$2, then I'm freaking Jeremy Clarkson right now.
Yeah, and I'm Richard Hammond.
And I'm just Tama.
No, he's James May. Captain Slow. Last week, we heard rumors that Cadillac was going to put that converged concept into production, right? This week it got confirmed, and it's going to be called the Cadillac ELR. It's going to come out, they haven't said anything actually, didn't say, but most likely 2013. They haven't released any technical specs, just the pictures. I think it's really, really sexy. And
We covered this last week, though.
yes, but it's been confirmed this week by General Motors themselves.
Yeah, and
Last week it was
it's
just a
called
rumor.
now it's called
Now
the
it's
ELR.
called the ELR.
It's most likely probably going to have technology from the Volt too. Right?
Yeah,
We
it's
could
gonna
assume
be the
it's
technology
safe
from the
safe
Volt.
to assume so.
I hope it performs better than the Volt though. It actually rides like a Cadillac and isn't. I mean, we have the Volt. I've been driving it all week. It's nice, but I don't want a Cadillac that goes to 0 to 60 in 9 seconds.
I guess what you're
9
saying
seconds.
is the car looks cool enough to be essentially a car that stands on its own without the electric features, right? And it does look that cool.
In fact, I almost would go as far as saying is that's what the original CTS coupe should have looked like.
Yeah,
I could agree with that. I could agree with that.
definitely.
Because the lines just seem so much better. Because whereas with the CTS coupe, you look at it from the back can be polarizing sometimes to the eyes, and it's what could be turning off some owners from buying.
We
these
definitely
things.
don't want to polarize your eyes, Chris.
Now, Cadillac hasn't said anything in terms of pricing yet, but there's some internal source says it's going to be costing less than the Tesla Model S, which is like 57,000, something like that. So it's going to cost less than that. So that should be interesting. Finally, after all the teaser shots we've been seeing, Infiniti has released the 2013 JX. And he's not a fan, but I thought it was okay. Kind of looks like a minivan, but it's a 7-passenger crossover. Fits 7 people in it, and
I have to
Inspired by a V6.
disagree with these two because I thought the new JX looks actually pretty darn good, and it's a crap ton better.
good.
It's a crap ton better than the car that it would be going directly against, which is the Audi Q7, which I think looks like a troll.
You don't like the Audi Q7?
I think
you
it's
think
hideous.
the JX looks better than the
I
Audi?
think the JX looks better.
And-
You don't think the JX looks like a minivan? It looks like a Mercedes R-Class for
No.
most of the vehicle.
The R Class is something else. That's Germany's
The
version of
JX looks
Pontiac
like a
Casta.
minivan. It looks like a minivan.
It does not look like a minivan.
It looks like a minivan with a Dodge Durango grill. That's what it looks like. It's flat out ugly. Would you want to be seated in that thing?
I wouldn't mind.
Well, that just is a reflection
I
on
guess he
you.
likes minivans.
No, that's not exactly like minivan.
He's not really a car enthusiast.
But it's Infiniti said that it's going to have a V6. Ha, you guys are funny. Infiniti said it's going to have a V6. Most likely, it's going to be Nissan's traditional VQ V6 that we've come to get used to. And unfortunately, the V8 is not going to be an option.
Well,
which I think,
V8s are falling by the wayside everywhere you look.
yeah, but what is it? Nissan Infiniti's got a really nice V8 now. What is it? That 5
It's
liter
also
V8?
going to be available in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
It's
not rear wheel. So you really like this, don't you?
I'm just
okay.
Front-wheel drive minivan.
Okay,
for
they're
Chris.
starting to sway my opinion. But
Now, the Japanese automakers weren't the only ones revealing cars at Pebble Beach this past week. Cadillac showed up with something called the Ciel Concept. It was a 4-door, 4-passenger convertible, and it's not pinned for production yet, but they're just saying it's supposed to celebrate open-top motoring.
It's an old school looking Cadillac with a big beefy grille. I liked it a lot,
I thought it was
and
beautiful. Yeah.
to make it a drop top, just took it to another level.
it's a throwback. That's what it is.
Yeah. You didn't even see it, so I don't know what to talk about. He didn't see the pictures, he didn't read the article, so he's just making up stuff right now. Besides the Infiniti JX, the car that was teased the most this whole month was the Lexus GS. That also made its debut at Pebble Beach this past week. I thought it looks awesome. I thought the interior looked awesome. I thought the exterior looked better than we saw the leaked images.
I like the interior as well. Exterior, I was a bigger fan of the concept than the current look.
Now, I have to say, when I first saw the leaked images of the GS, I wasn't too fond of it. I thought it just looked like the IS and the LS
really boring.
had an orgy, and the result was the GS.
Yeah.
But after
Wait, two cars kind of get it on. That's not an orgy though. That's just
Okay, I got my terminology wrong. I'm
Okay.
sorry. But anyway,
wanted to clarify. I want to stay factual. The fact guy isn't.
all right. Well, anyway, Lexus said that it's only going to come with a 3.5 liter V6, which is also
Yeah.
making its way in to what the
But
IS.
0 to 60 in like 5.9 seconds. That'd
Which
be-
isn't
it's
bad
like-
for a V6, but they said they don't plan on offering a V8, which again, I disagree with because the GS is one of the sportiest models of Lexus. I'm a really huge fan of the current generation, the 3rd generation. I think it's a great looking car,
Yes.
and it comes with a V8, and
You
I
love
think that's
talking
part of
about
the
his
experience. even though there's really no experience
Listen,
with Lexus.
flat
'cause
out,
they're
we
boring.
know V8s are falling by the wayside, but if they don't have a V8 version of this, right?
I think.
How can they
all right,
comfortably
how about
compete
this?
with BMW, Audi, and Benz?
How about this?
Honestly.
No V8, no V6. Let's just offer it with the LFA's V10.
That'd be
And Lexus
nice.
GS.
Yeah, that's interesting. Omar.
Have a
Actually, no.
GSF.
That actually brings up an interesting idea. Because they're out with a new GS, could Lexus be coming out with an
A
M5
GSF.
beater? Oh, not necessarily a
GSF.
beater, but a competitor to the
Like a wife
M5.
beater.
Yeah.
So a while ago, rapper Birdman purchased the Maybach Accelero for $8 million. Apparently, he owes money on it or something, and I'll let you talk about it.
He basically owes the current owner its full price,
That's
despite
just-
saying that he purchased the item via Twitter this past May.
Yeah,
And not to mention, he also owns a Bugatti Veyron,
which he owes money on.
which he also still owes money on. And what was the
Stop buying things you can't afford, man.
Hey, I guess to sum it up, maybe contrary to what Birdman says, he really doesn't have money to blow.
Or the other thing is, he could be very disinterested in Maybach now after Kanye West and Jay-Z completely tore one apart.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
this is interesting. I mean, Birdman, we know he's pulling in
being donated,
hundreds
by
of
the way.
millions of dollars a year, right?
Yeah.
Like, he can't be having money problems, so
Yeah.
something's got to be up here.
At the 2011 Frankfurt Auto Show next month, Kia will show a new concept. No name's been released, but it's going to be a rear-wheel drive sport sedan, and it's just supposed to hint at the future design tech, where it's headed. Kia's future design theme.
Well, in general, I think it's a very important move for Kia because Kia is the kind of brand where, if you ever asked anyone if they've ever driven a Kia, they'd be like, no. And there's good reason. It's because you'd want to drive them off a freaking cliff.
While these two can't stop laughing, many of you probably don't know that Kia's new head of design is Audi's ex-head of design. So if you see anything from Audi being carried over into Kia, it's because of that.
Well, we saw the sleek lines right in the hood and in the perimeter of the car,
Yeah.
and that had Audi written all over it. This is cool. I like it. I mean, this is a step up for Kia, big time.
I feel like it looks more like a Jaguar from back in the day,
A little bit.
right?
But it's also safe to say that if Kia is given the green light from Hyundai, who is also their parent owner, it's most likely to assume, and it makes sense to assume that the car could be based on the current Genesis.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting, actually.
I like that.
Meh. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. My name is Omar.
I'm Tamer.
And I'm Chris.
Chris, say we're burning out.
And we're burning out!
Jaco.
And I'm surrounded by weirdos.